All right, let's continue on as I do see stepping to the podium in Louisiana, discussing lengthily about this major tropical storm expected to strengthen into a hurricane. Hurricane Francine heading directly for Louisiana. Let's listen in to these officials in New Orleans.
Wednesday evening as a Category 1 hurricane. We're urging all residents and all of our visitors to take precaution and to prepare. Prepare for heavy rain, gusty winds, and isolated tornado activity. This is what we have been told this afternoon. Heavy rain, wind, and isolated tornadoes potentially. Impacts, we've been told, will start on Tuesday evening and last until Thursday morning. Rainfall expected to be 4 to 6 inches, and of course some localized area flooding we could see. Coordinating, of course, with all of our partners, both local, state, and federal, as well as our partners relative to our hospitality and tourism industry. We know that we have, of course, visitors in the city of New Orleans. Now, again, is the time to finalize your storm plans and to prepare, not only for your families, also looking out for your neighbors. As we know, New Orleans, we know all too well, our first responders tend to be our residents, meaning our neighbors, your neighbors. So know who they are, know what their needs are, and work collectively, again, to protect one another. Prepare to shelter in place. That's what we're going to be doing. Again, preparing to shelter in place. Got to go back to being a good neighbor, checking on one another, particularly our elderly, which we know always tend to show up as our most vulnerable population of people in our city. You're going to hear from other leaders after me that will give you more information, but we always want to encourage our residents as well as our visitors to text NOLA READY, all one word, to 77295 to get real-time updates from the city of New Orleans. We're standing up our NORD rec centers. You're going to hear more about that. And of course, we're working with our partners relative to Solar for All, as well as our community lighthouses that the city of New Orleans has invested in, again, with our partners around the city. The good news is that we've invested. And also the good news, because we've invested, we're going to be able to see those lighthouses in our community in key areas, meeting our people where they are in the city. We know the future and sustainability of New Orleans, again, depends on all of us in terms of how we adapt to climate that has already changed. We're going to be making sandbags available. You'll hear more from this, and working with all of our partners on the New Orleans City Council relative to distribution sites. So at this time, I would like to call up my Director of Homeland Security, Colin Arnold, and you'll hear from more leaders after Colin. Come forth, please.
Afternoon, everybody. The Office of Homeland Security Emergency Preparedness is monitoring this system. Tropical Storm Francine, recently upgraded this morning, has the potential to become a Category 1 hurricane, is what we're hearing at this point. We always kind of plan ahead that, you go one level above. We do believe that this is a shelter-in-place scenario storm, and that for the, the public, they should be pay a lot of attention to this, enact their plan for a shelter-in-place, lower-level indirect hit from a tropical storm or Category 1 hurricane. It appears it will be coming into the west of us at this point. We'll obviously be monitoring the forecast to see if there has been some east movement overnight and into today, but the models seem to be in pretty much agreement that, we are looking at potentially rain anywhere from 4 to 6 inches over the entire event. So that would be basically, from, say, now until Thursday evening. But I think that Wednesday and Thursday are going to be the days that are going to be most impactful for our city and for our area, and that people should really consider Wednesday and Thursday, staying home, staying indoors, staying off the roads. You know, we do plan to close city government on Wednesday and Thursday. We plan to, schools plan to close on Wednesday and Thursday. I think you're just going to see, and I think we would encourage that other businesses and relevant, you know, companies and things in the city do the same thing. Another, as the mayor mentioned, is you know, minor to moderate coastal flooding. That does not include areas inside the hurricane and storm damage risk reduction system, the levee system. This would be you know, important for our neighbors and residents that live out in Venetian Isles, Lake Catherine, and Irish Bayou. We have been speaking with the Flood Protection Authority East Bank, and they are not closing some of those higher sill gates, including the lakefront, including out there on Chef Highway and out 90. You know, we did take that into consideration, being the bridges being down over Chef Pass. But at this point, it appears that you will have fleet-free traffic through there. You know, I think people out in those areas should exercise caution, but what we were seeing was 2 to 4 feet of coastal flooding. That's not outside. That's not concerning for us. We see that out there during some wind events just any time of year. Again, isolated tornado activity is always possible in these types of events, so that's something that we want to you know, make sure everybody pays attention to. And, you know, strong winds, 39 to 54 miles an hour, maybe even some higher gusts. You know, one of the things that we're seeing about this and that we've asked about is that this is moving. It's a little slow right now, but as it gathers steam and moves up towards us here in the northwestern Gulf, or northeastern Gulf, I'm sorry, it's going to move pretty fast. And we anticipate this is going to move through the area relatively quickly. They're not seeing signs of any kind of stalling. With that, you know, we may start getting some outer bands tomorrow night. So my encouragement for the public is, as step 2, you know, 1 is enacting your plan. Step 2, finish gathering your supplies today and tomorrow. We think you've got a pretty good opportunity of window to get what you need just to make sure you're good through Thursday or Friday. Tonight and moving into tomorrow during the day. We have just initially, because this is obviously a dynamic situation, reached out to the council. They've been a great help to us in the past with distribution of the material for sandbags. We are going to work on having that tomorrow at some point during the afternoon, probably from around noon to 4. Don't quote me on it just yet. We will make sure and pump that out, but we're going to work with our council members in the districts to find the best location to drop the sand. It will be, you know, come in and get your sandbags. You know, there'll be a limit, probably 5. Usually we do 5 to 6 sandbags per carload. And you can come and do that to either protect your property, protect your front door, and the like. So more will come on that. And then finally, as the mayor talked about as well, it's really important at this point that you stay connected. And you can do that by signing up for NOLA Ready alerts. You can either do it online at ready.nola.gov, where you can also find out about, you know, preparedness tips for hurricanes and flooding and all those things that we work year-round to work on here in the city. And then you can also sign up by text short code by texting NOLA Ready, one word, to 77295. If you'd like those alerts in Spanish, you can text ESP to 77295 and receive those alerts in Spanish. A lot of what we'll be putting out there will be reposts from the National Weather Service as these warnings and watches come out. We are under a tropical storm watch right now for the area, and also a storm surge watch for the area. But again, I would say that that does not include areas inside the levee system. With that, please follow us on social media at NOLA Ready, and just stay connected. Consider Wednesday and Thursday days to stay home, get your supplies together, and we're going to see you on the other side of this, and everything's going to be fine. So we got a great team working here. With that, I'll turn it over to Nathaniel Fields, who is our Director of Homeless Services and Strategies.
Thank you.
All right, you're just listening in there to this update from New Orleans. Let's sign away for a quick 2-minute break. We'll get you back out to this as we're detailing this tropical storm Francine, expected to become a hurricane. This from the National Hurricane Center, saying Francine stronger and becoming better organized. Preparations along the Louisiana coast should be underway.